Pierre Poilievre pledges to cut the GST on all new homes. So this is your pre-construction homes that are under $1 million, which should save $50,000 for anyone buying a pre-construction home if he gets elected into office in the next election, whatever that may be. How is this going to impact the market, and should you be voting for him based on this policy if you're a first-time home buyer? I'll be breaking this down for you on this week's episode of the reaction video on Prime Properties TV. As the market slowly is starting to pick up after the last 50 basis point rate cut, if you're planning on making a move in the real estate market, whether you're buying or selling or doing both at the same time, you could do so by booking a call with me using a link that's on the screen. It's right here. It's www.chatwithzhen.com. Simply click on the date and a time that works best for you. And then when you see the prompt, fill in your name, email, mobile phone number, and the question you have for me, and then we'll chat then. Good day, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Prime Properties TV. If you're new here, my name is Zhen, and I own and operate a RE/MAX in the Greater Toronto area, on top of helping clients buy, sell, and invest in real estate. And if you're enjoying the content I'm putting out there, do me a favor and like and subscribe. So the article we'll be reviewing today is Pierre Poilievre would replace liberal housing programs with GST cut on new homes. So this is potentially going to come into play if he gets elected as the next prime minister, whenever the election may be. So what he is pledging is that he's going to remove the Housing Accelerator Fund, which is about like $4 billion with a B, and just cutting all GST on new build homes, meaning pre-construction, for homes that are under $1 million, and they're cutting to 5%. So what that means to you as the end user, if you're planning to buy a pre-construction home and call it the next little bit, is going to be a $50,000 maximum reduction on a property that's under $1 million. So if it's over $1 million, it's not going to apply. And the idea here, I think he's trying to cater towards first-time home buyers and trying to get in the market. And where this kind of really falls apart is that you really got to think, even in Toronto or like the Greater Toronto area, what are you buying for less than $1 million that's new build, right? It's not resale, it's new build, which basically is just condos, right? Because you can't even get a condo project off the ground for less than $1,000 a foot. And $1,000 a foot, you're getting like at most a 2-bedroom with parking, right? For all the freehold properties I've seen that are in the pre-construction space, even if you go out to like Durham and like Whitby, I'm seeing townhomes at like $1 million. I'm seeing Barrie homes in like $1 million. I'm seeing homes in Milton for $1 million+ bucks. So all these low-rise ground-based homes, right? So your detached homes, your semis, your towns, they're not going to get applied to this. Meaning the ground-based family-oriented family homes aren't going to work. So that's kind of the stuff that I think is missing. So what this policy does in the GTA is that it helps condos, right? It gives them a break. It may help developers make their projects viable, because I've always said, if the builder doesn't make a certain profit margin, they can't get that project off the ground and get construction financing. So it may make some of their projects viable. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the $50,000 may get passed to you, although there's an initiative by some builders on doing that. It just means that it may be more viable to build. Now, having said that, with the removal of the GST in the future, new builders may see this as an opportunity to pass those savings on to the buyers, but that's going to be much further down the line, because you're probably looking at a new site and trying to get it rezoned at that point with the new kind of performa. Because most existing performas, if they're kind of already in there, they may not pass the savings to the end user. Now, they're saying that this is going to cost $4 billion a year, which is a lot of money, but I think it's a little bit more better spent than $200 per person in Ontario, which is like $3 billion. So they're saying this is going to be 30,000 homes per year. So that kind of helps with the 1.5 million homes in the next 10 years, because that's like 20% per year. But as with most politicians, I think it's a little bit inflated, But again, it helps move the needle in the right direction. But just unfortunately, like I was saying earlier, in the GTA, it's going to be more condos than it is kind of like ground-based homes, which are kind of what we're needing right now. So one of the things I do agree with this policy, and I'm generally pretty agnostic left or right side of the government, that if we do remove the 5%, even though it may help the builders, make projects viable, it does get the construction industry going again. So it may help us from, getting into a really, really bad recession as well, right? Because it's not looking good right now. So by getting the construction kind of going, it could spur some economic growth, which is nice, right? It would be very good for people in that space. Now you can see over here that Ford said, they would love to match the federal government by removing the provincial portion of the HST on homes on that as well. And same thing, it's not going to affect the freehold space. It's really just going to be for condos. And unfortunately, like I was saying, it's just going to be that little small segment of people who are going to be able to get into the market. And that small segment could very much still be investor driven. So we're thinking about the GTA market under $1 million. Who is this really helping, right? It's not going to be your end users, because if you're buying a condo and it's going to take 5 to 6 years to build, let's say your first time home buyer is buying in like your mid 20s to early 30s on average, your life situation could very much change in 5-6 years, right? You could, be married, have kids, move different job. So I don't think end users will be opting for this too much, right? Which really leaves you with the investor base for condos because the build time is so long, right? So I think this may help investors make projects a little bit more reasonable on a price per square foot basis and helps, increase economic activity. But at the end of the day, I don't think it really helps, your first time home buyer get into the market. It may create more supply and may eventually increase the supply so that the market's a little bit more balanced and help end users get in the market. But we're kind of already there right now. There's so many condos available to buy in the 416 and even the 905. So as you can see, there's clearly pros and cons to if he pledges to do this cut. But at the end of the day, if you're looking at GTA as a whole, I think this is going to benefit investors more at the long run, even though this kind of policies clearly cater towards the first-time home buyers and trying to get their votes as well, right? So just something to be cognizant of if that is you as a person thinking, hey, I can benefit from this. The only first-time end user that I could potentially see may benefit from this is if we start seeing more like stacked townhome kind of projects in the GTA where the price point is a little bit lower and it's still ground-based and it takes faster to build as opposed to a high-rise, right? But those are kind of far and in between. But maybe with this axing the tax, it could make those a lot more viable, and that becomes more and more popular as kind of an in-between for high-rise condos and your freehold homes that are over $1 million. Anyways, I hope this gives you an idea of what's happening in the real estate market right now. As you can see, there's been a lot of promises, changes from political governments because we're getting into kind of like election season in Canada whenever it gets thrown out. But all of these policies that I keep talking about are clearly geared towards getting people into the real estate market. And what that means is that all governments, whether you're left, right, blue, red, green, orange, whatever, right, they're all trying to make sure the real estate market doesn't collapse. You see that? And that's what I'm saying. It's going to get backstopped by the government. And with the latest rate cut, you can see that the activity, meaning the number of sales, has picked up. I'm not saying prices have gone up substantially. I'm just saying sales have gone up. And you'll see that on Thursday when I talk about the market watch numbers. And we are slowly starting to see that kind of trend of reverting back to the 10-year average in the real estate market. So yes, things are picking up, but not like crazy picking up. So if you do want to talk about what you plan to do in the real estate market in the near future, you could do so by booking a call with me using the link that's on the screen right here. It's www.chatwithzhen.com. Until next time, your move, your future. See ya. Now that you're done watching this one, how about this one or this one? You know what? Just watch them both.